What's up, me professor? What's up, brother, me the professor? Hey, just check out the biceps right there and tell me again one time. We got biceps on screen. I can fit them in the damn shot. Look at that. Okay. So this is an important topic because it's not what you think I'm about to talk about. You might be thinking, oh, if your heart is broken, as good as it possibly could be, where it hurts right there inside, it hurts to breathe. You can't stop thinking about her. You're a mess. Oh man, do I ever hate that feeling. So I want you guys to say this little prayer with me. Okay, God, help me accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So I'm going to break that prayer down for you guys. It is from St. Francis of Assisi that was adopted by Alcoholics Anonymous and by every other anonymous type of group henceforth. So before we get started, I want to take you guys into a very deep sort of meditation. I think this will help you a lot. Meditation just to help you to take this information in as if you are taking, let's say we're going to see a doctor and you're freaking out and he was to give you a shot in the arm of something, who knows what, that would calm you down, like just chill you out immediately, and then you'll be able to talk to him. Okay, now what's going on? That's what I'm telling you right now, is by say this little prayer, and I insist you guys look it up. Look it up if you want to. Say this little prayer every single time that bitch comes in your mind. I want you to say that prayer right there. Okay, that's the prayer. It's from St. Francis of Assisi, but Alcoholics Anonymous and every other anonymous group since then has adopted this very simple prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Now, why does this help me if I am a broken heart? This could be a broken anything, a broken relationship. I have a broken relationship with my son, for example. He doesn't want to talk to me. He's combative with me. And because he was told that I didn't want nothing to do with him or whatever, and that I wasn't shit and I didn't pay child support, only for him to find out 22 years later, check your dad out now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look what he's been doing. I mean, Lord, I could have been with him all this time. But I was with a girl at the time that I was in love with or in lust with or whatever you want to call it. I want to say lust because I was at that window of time, where I was at physically my best shape. Career-wise, I was very close to, uh, you know, going places. I was finishing school. And then they come back from the war and ex-wife goes back to the States and suddenly loses her passport. So here I am in a situation where I've got this one girl, had the baby. I'm there for the baby to be born. I got to go back to the duty station. And then within 3 months after her being back in the state, I can't find my passport. And I'm going to stay here with my sister. And that was the end of it. I was like, wow. And then I sent her divorce papers. She sent me divorce papers. I'd read nothing. And so you could see just not connected with this person anymore, and too big of a pussy and too big of a simp at the time to know the fucking difference. You guys remember what I just said about that prayer? It says, God, grant me the serenity. Okay. Serenity, would you say, is peace? Because that's what I would say. Serenity would be a level of peace where you just say, hey, you know what? Whatever the fuck is going to happen, I'm here, yo. Okay. I'm told that there's cartel on the fucking border. I'm told there's, uh, possibility of an invasion. I'm here on the couch, not giving two motherfucks right now. Okay? I'm not thinking about, I'm just telling you guys right now, fuck that bitch. The only way to get her back is by getting her back. Okay? Why? Because, first of all, the person that we are talking about is not the person that signed up with you for the long term. The person who signed up with you for the long term had an idea of what you would be for them, and then in short order found that there were, very much an other selection that might also suit them as well, but with more benefits on the backside, on the back end, knowing that their sexual market value is this high, they could pursue a man of value that is, say, a head above of us. We're $30,000 millionaire bus drivers, and this motherfucker might be some Miami socialite. And all the women get the blue check slid into their DMs. Where does that leave the rest of us? Well, the rest of us have had to carve a path of our own, meaning that traditional sexual relationships are not what they used to be. Now they are rather conditional and one-sided. So it has been my appraisal of the whole thing is to avoid being charged with a crime by avoiding anything that does not seem to be substantial. So if you are not substantially invested into a woman that is substantially invested family-wise, on point value-wise, and knows that she is a representation of you in public and amongst your peers. So this means that she is your ambassador, how she appears to others in public. Okay? I'll give you guys a prime example. Last month we had visitors that were from a very important political legal team that wanted to check us out, check our paperwork, check our legal status, see if all of our certificates are in order, our insurance, where it basically was like a whole inspection. But instead of it being an inspection, they wanted to make sure and verify that we are, in fact, who we say we are, and they see with their own two eyes. You can't just train children, to do marching and facing movements in one day. This takes time. You can't just teach kids to do Muay Thai kickboxing and to effectively, do a Muay Thai clinch and to execute knees and elbows and everything else, and to get hit in the damn face and the kid not cry without having spent an ample amount of time with these kids, teaching them to take a punch and to suffer a little bit in training. And that means that just because you have a bottle of water over there doesn't mean you could just jump out of line and go over there and drink it. You have to wait for everybody else to be called and sent to go drink water. You don't have the luxury of breaking ranks and just wandering over there and getting it. It doesn't work that way. In addition to that, you see that we have to live in such a way that who we are speaks so loudly that people don't believe a fucking thing that is said about you. Okay? Well, that is important to learn. because it seems to me that the insecurity of a lot of dudes, a lot of bros, insecurity in terms of jealousy because of past traumas with past women, and an over, maybe I would say a lot of men are codependent because of their mothers. A lot of men are codependent because of their mothers. I want to say hey to all you guys who are checking in. Appreciate you very much. So, codependency is always, always, always. Codependency is a reaction based in habits that morphosize into a very, very sick sort of relationship. That's why a lot of girls will meet like a bad boy and she'll take care of him in spite of the fact that he's a bum. And a man will also take care of a woman and he is of means, but she's not. And he brings value to her life. So you can see it can happen both ways. However, there you will fall into a trap of codependency. Because there's no normal woman in the fucking world that's going to tell a grown ass man that, oh, you can stay home, you don't have to work. That's some bullshit. A grown ass man wants to work with his hands, he wants to go to work, he wants to provide, and he wants to protect. He doesn't want her running off and doing some corporate job where she's working for some hotshot lawyers. No, he does not want to compete with that because she would end up with some work husband, you know what I'm saying, that may not have kissed yet. And I was going to tell you guys right in advance that we got to know the fucking difference between something that is clearly not good for us. It is so good to get in their pants and it feels so good to be taken care of that we're willing to live a fucking lie because it is easier for us to communicate with women by fucking lying because they never want to accept the truth. They can't handle the fucking truth. That is why men like myself and many of you guys here on Sunday, there's a bitch laying in bed right now waiting for you somewhere where you live. Or maybe she's back home. Good for you. And I know for a fact that if you had the wisdom to know the difference, how do we learn the wisdom to know the difference? It's by learning by trial and error, saying, okay, every time I go to Medellin, I'm going to stop going on blah, blah, blah website because it's too easy. Now, what do they mean by that? They mean it's too easy because there's prostitutes that basically occupy that whole dating space online because it's a business. And if you want to meet a normal girl who's beautiful and has a family and has a good background, you don't use those apps. You have to get out on your feet. You have to go to the bank. You got to go to the bakery. You got to go to the pharmacy. You have to make business. You have to make transactions because of business in Latin America is face to face. And don't do as I did, and that is pick a girl prior to going to that country and being a fucking pen pal for 3 months or 6 months or 9 months or a year. And then she meets you at the fucking airport. Now you're in a full-blown relationship. And it's already too late because you're already invested. She's invested into you. You don't have the wisdom to know the difference because you have nothing to compare it to. Because when you get to these new countries, you're going to find that these women will fight over these men that are coming to their country with knives. Okay? And I am not fucking kidding you. My friends went to Honduras. He is a dark-skinned black man from Alabama. My boy is a white on white rice motherfucking like Iowa boy who's jacked. He's like 6'4" and about 300 pounds of wrestler. And he was invited by his friend, who is the black American military guy who was also stationed with him. These guys were both Air Force guys, by the way. Big fucking Air Force guys. Went to Honduras together. He says, you got to come with me. He's like, Honduras? Why Honduras? He goes, oh, man, you're going to love Honduras. He goes to Honduras. He comes back. He says, bro, I need your help. What do you need? He goes, I don't know anything about engineering. I said, what do you need to know? He goes, I need ice machines and I need water filters because I'm moving to Honduras. And I'm like, whoa, hang on a second. What? Oh, okay. You go to Panama. You go to the Panama Canal. You go to the place that's called Colón. You go to the Colón, and there you'll deal with people bringing stuff in from China and from India and other countries, and you'll have that container shipped to Honduras, to the location where you decide or whatever, with a broker. And he wanted ice machines and filtration systems. Boom, boom, boom. He came to Panama with me, went to Panama, went to Colón, ordered all the stuff he wanted. They put it in a container. He couldn't take it with him. He had to pay for it. Gets shipped to the nearest wherever, gets to Honduras. He was never heard from ever again because at one point, I'm going to tell you guys this, he was in love. He met a girl. Now, his friend, by the way, he was a dark guy. So he said, I want a melanated girl. Well, Honduras basically is half and half melanated girls and white girls. And you would be hard pressed to not be able to find a wife in one of these places because they are super nice and they think that we're exotic. They think we're kind of stupid too. So we got tons of money, and some of the girls are, you know what I mean? It's not their first time dealing with foreigners, so they're going to go right for the money. And you're dumb, and if you put your wallet on, you wear your wallet on your head, and you lead with your wallet, it's going to be expected of you, period. You're probably wondering, why am I saying all this if we're talking about getting my ex back? Well, in a roundabout way, by doing these things and learning about these things in advance, you don't have to be a victim of your own stupidity as a gringo down here in Latin America. Okay? That means at some point, you're going to meet some girl, you might get your heart broken, and you're going to want to give her money. You're going to want to give her fucking presents, flowers, chocolates. You might as well be giving her bags of shit. Okay? Now I got to think about this. I want to put my thicket sombrero on for a minute. Okay, my thicket sombrero, because I want to tell you guys, back in time, we got to go back in time to that prayer. The prayer that says, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So I'm going to break this down for you guys the best that I was told and the way I was learned this shit. Okay, take your caps off because it just came to me. We say God, hello, God within, God without, God above, God below, God connected to all things, Jesus Christ, Dios, and all things are real. So you guys know God is real, and all that goofy shit, every single thing that you guys think is not real is actually real too. All these things turned out to be true. All of them. So there's that. I have no dog in that fight. The way you get your ex back is by leveling up to a point where it would be embarrassing for you to go back to her. I'll say that one more time because it hurts my ears sometimes to hear the truth. When somebody is telling me something that I needed to fucking hear and I didn't listen to them the last time they told me, I don't do business with men who cheat on their wives. I do not do business with men who are a joke to other people. You do not want a woman who is a joke to other people in your life because she is a representative of you. This is why this is a hard thing for a long distance relationship, because you need to have your woman by your side. You need to have your woman by your side so that she can help you. If she can help you be better at what you do, not by giving you suggestions, none of that shit. That means if you're outside, doing a 3D project, or you're over in the a studio printing the 3D printing thing, and she's coming in every 5 minutes giving you a fucking hassle, that is not what you need. No, you want someone that knows that when you go into that zone, unless you have something to contribute, there's no reason for you to be in there. Likewise, when she's on the phone with her girlfriends, what are you talking about? You talking about something? You don't need to be involved with none of that shit. Okay? So these are preventative measures for you guys that if you play your cards right, you will have one type of girl for the rest of however you decide you want to be. Okay? So I'm going to refer to girls all at this point as your future ex-girlfriend, or she is going to be your wife. Because if you look at her and be honest with yourself, put your hand on her shoulder or around her and brush her hair back and touch her earlobe, grab it like this, okay? And you give her a little tug, give her a little hug, give her a little kiss right there on the forehead, like you would do, you know. Now, if she is for you, she's going to pull into you. She's going to pull into you in a way that you know that is beyond sexual. Now, remember something, guys. These are preventative measures that you need to take seriously. If she does an ass-out hug, that is the type of hug that could be the type of insincere hug that could be known as a side hug, which would be a hug like that, which you did in Sunday school, back at church, when you went to church. Then there's the ass-out hug, which is an embarrassment. Oh, it's cool, man. No, I want you to listen to this, guys. Okay. This is a great point. MedTech brought up he is an atheist. And that's good that he looks at life differently than I do, because he doesn't have a relationship with any kind of God. And I don't blame him, because there's so much horse shit that has been fed to us. We've all been lied to. We've all been brainwashed by the Rockefeller style of money grabbing churches on both the Catholic side and the Protestant side, every type of nationality, with exception, I would think, would be the Ethiopians and, of course, the Serbian Orthodox, because we don't just read the Bible. We also have things like the Book of Enoch, which talks about the Anunnaki. We also talk about other theories of civilizations that belong prior to, and the Bible was nothing more than copy and pasted from older tablets and older scriptures. So yes, all the things that I was brought up to believe that were true all turned out to be just scratching the surface of a much far more profound deeper thing that is civilizations behind civilizations that are older than civilizations that you and I were taught in school about Egyptians being the ones that built the pyramids when they did nothing more than move into the area where the pyramids were. These were not built for the pharaohs. They were built a civilization more than possibly 12,800 years ago. And the Sphinx, even further, they're somehow guesstimating at somewhere in the tune of 220,000 years before the pyramids. We were all knocked out by several cataclysms. There's only been a fraction of humanity that remained behind that lived in caves. And there's evidence of that in Turkey. There is evidence of that in the United States. There is evidence now that in 1890 or 1492, that Columbus sailed the ocean blue and then suddenly discovered America and then populated North America, who turned out to be bullshit. Turns out that the Indians and other white people from northern Scotland, giants from northern Scotland that had red hair on the bottom of their face that were over 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 meters tall. And they turned out to be cannibals too. And somebody said that the Hopi Indians, I believe, chased them into the mountains. So they went into the mountains and disappeared. And then along come these explorers that discover these things and going by these hunches and stuff, and those men disappear. Then the Smithsonian comes in and makes all the history disappear. So we never know what is true. All we can go by is miraculous faith that is not by sight, or we could take hallucinogenic drugs that take us into another dimension that tells us all about all the naughty shit that we've done our entire life, and it gives us a turnaround that is so phenomenal and so wonderful because it does last for a very long time. It takes away trauma, it takes away nightmares, and it lasts for 11 months. And it's a treatment for PTSD. And it was a lot smoother than I thought it was going to be. And it has taken the edge off because I'm a very edgy dude and I'm very conflict oriented and always on guard here on my house. So I do not debate with people who decide that they do not want to believe in anything they can't see. Me, on the other hand, had too many weird shit things happen. I'll go back in time with you 1 year, 2 years. Here, December 26th, there was a fucking UFO flying outside of my house. I videotaped it. I put it on YouTube. It is on my channel, UFO sighting above San Juan del Rio. I was talking to a guy in the United States who is a UFO guy that swears up and down for the longest time I've known this guy, 20 years, that UFOs existed. I'm like, yeah, it's a bunch of bullshit. Until I finally see one myself, and I'm like, so I'm on the phone and I'm videoing this, and so that was it. Okay, that was weird. Go back, let's go 6 months back in the time. I'm doing an interview in this small magic village, and I'm doing an interview with a lady that wholesales organic honey, to which we can do an inspection and looking through this glass to see how pure it is in the event it is being mixed with corn syrup or some other kind of, fake shit, and then it's being sold as pure honey. So I was doing an interview with this lady, and then as we're finishing up, she looks over at the bar and she says, look at that thing on the wall. It was a little mark on the wall that looked like one of the servers had wiped the damn wall off. And she said, yeah, it looks a little bit like a wolf. I said, no, actually, it looks like that virgin that you guys are so crazy about, the Virgin Guadalupe. And that is the moment when she had seen it, and then within 30 minutes, like the whole news was there, and they had like a shrine set up, and there were people there in line taking pictures and selfies with this thing on the wall, which was the Virgin of Guadalupe, which I just think was just a bunch of stupid nonsense from the Catholic Church. And well, the backstory behind it is that she appeared to this native guy that spoke Nahuatl, and she appeared to him Now, just so you guys know, they were known for taking magic mushrooms. So there's a good possibility this guy was tripping balls and he saw this virgin. Well, now I talked to one of my shaman friends, and he says that every single thing in every religion and every one of these mystical things that were like, gods with superpowers back beyond, okay, were actually things that were real and were wiped out by the flood, which also turns out in the Bible from Noah, and then every other uh, religion in India had a flood, China had a flood, the Native Americans had floods. So there's all these stories about flood worldwide. So it was communicated to everybody, and there was a record of it. So I understand why people would not say, "Oh, there's some mean old man in space with a stop sign that says no fun on it." I'll get that. But I've had this turnaround in my own self that says I no longer are going to do evil things. And I made that a point, and it was easy for me to do because, like I said, I would do these ceremonies, which are not Christian ceremonies whatsoever. Okay. Guys, even though this, I believe in the Most High, and I also believe in myself because that thing that I don't have control over that is helping me in this massive, whatever the fuck this is. Is this a hallucination? Is this a simulation? Is it that all of us are in a coma and this is like a dream state that we're in, that we get to control all the cool shit that goes on in our life, good and bad, just by our thoughts? And is this why the randomness of all the things that are so weird and cool to me all have now come to me? Why is it that I'm living where I'm next door to my welder, which I needed in every state I've ever lived in, but I could never find a fucking welder, by a guy that knows how to paint, a guy that knows how to do upholstery, a goddamn Volkswagen mechanic that does antique restoration of Volkswagens. Around the corner, chicken breast, super cheap. Close to them, bakery, super fresh and hot. Right down the street, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 cafeterias where you can eat for less than $3. I'm not even kidding you, man. Why would it be so good? Unless there was, my player one is kicking some motherfucking ass. So my player one is in dream world right now. I'm the dream world in my player one's life. Now, in my player one's life, he had a breakup with a girl who broke his heart so bad that all he wanted to do was get her back. All I wanted to do is plead and cry and send her flowers and buy her shit that she didn't respect anyway. So, as a mantra, he said, out of respect for you, Professor, I do not believe in God. I am an atheist. But because my heart hurts so bad, I am willing to do anything to feel better. And you know what happens as a result of anything you decide to do? Anything you decide to do, that if you decide to do it habitually, every day, all of us, if you decide to do something every day for at least, I want to go further than that and say 20 minutes a day. You do something every day for 20 minutes a day, every single day, in 1 year, you'll have done it for 100 hours. So that means that if the dog starts barking when you're doing your podcast, always be prepared for something to say. So when you want to break up with a girl, it's a whole lot different from when a woman breaks up with a guy, because there are roots that are grown into that woman that are connected to our deep central part of that spirit of whatever it is that is within us. And it's in your stomach. That aching feeling, that feeling that you get that's within your stomach, that anxiety, I don't know what it is. I'm not a doctor. So here I am. Okay. A lot of guys get their hearts broken, and the first thing they want to fucking do is run back to her. That's the opposite of what you want to do. You want to go no contact, as if that bitch has something bad about her. You need to treat her like she has HIV from the boyfriend that she cheated on you with. And you got lucky and dodged a bullet. That's how you need to treat that bitch. That is how you need to get over your ego. That is the only reason and the only operating mechanism by which many of us men know how to operate. Ego is a deep force. It almost is like a saboteur in your own mind. You see, I want to give MedTech, I want to give him my vision, because he doesn't believe in any spirit of the universe, God, none of that shit. Okay. So I want to give him something that he can use that is not involved with spirituality, that is not correct connected to any religion, that is would be anything connected to me, is not going to be connected to any religion of any sort. It is, however, going to be connected to Stoicism in some way. And so when I can anticipate people being evil, backstabbing, cheap, just gossiping and horrible people in general, which is, by the way, how the way shit goes here in Mexico a lot of the time. Many of the times where I've felt the need to go, just like any ex-girlfriend, I'm going to say, fucking see ya. This job sucks. I quit. And you fucking walk out of that job and you say, I am never going to fucking come back to this job again. And I want you guys to sing along with me the hymnal written by the great singer Merle Haggard. He says, take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no more. The woman done left and took all the reason, but I've been working for. Says you better not try to stand in my way, 'cause I'm a walking out the door. To take this job and shove it. I ain't working here no more. Y'all hear me when I'm telling you guys that when you have the wisdom to know the difference, and hey, you know what? MedTech made a decision when he was younger, because I have the God wisdom in me to know the difference between when I'm getting hustled by a bitch and when I met somebody who is halfway decent and I may have a relationship with her. But there's no way of knowing somebody within the first 90 days. So you have to go out on a limb and have fucking faith in these people. I'm not saying you should. And in fact, I want to take you guys to another level and just say not to trust any of them. You see, unless a girl has made it fucking very clear to her guy friends that nothing ever will happen between them, your girlfriend, and her supposed guy friends, because that is just setting you up for failure. I've never been that other guy friend ever. I have always been the other man. I've always been the sideshow, that she can go back to the station, back to the barn with, what I'm saying, while I'm washing her horses. Come back and just jump into fucking hay with me, roll around in the hay. And I might have knocked her up 15, 20 times. She was a hoe. And nobody told me because I didn't have the wisdom to know the difference, because all of us young guys think with our dicks. And you know what? Some of us old guys still do think with our dicks when we're on testosterone. Another thing I'm going to tell you guys, if you're not on testosterone and you're over 40, you should probably be on testosterone that you get at the pharmacy in every country in the world besides the US and the UK and Australia. So you go up straight here, 5, 6 pharmacies, and go, can you give me a shot in the arm of testosterone? They're like, of course, that'll be $3. And then in 2 weeks from there, you're fucking like a porn star and everything else. But you don't have the wisdom to know the difference until you have that level of fucking power within you once again. Over 30-year-old guys have lost that power. Once you listen, when you're 18 years old, 19 years old, 20 years old, you can fuck like a beast. And you have all this power in all your punches, and you can run faster, and you don't get tired. You don't get sore. You know, you can eat anything you want, wake up with a 6-pack. And if you take steroids, you turn into a superhero in literally 3 months. And in my case, you know, because I was a shredded young guy and I worked out and I competed long before I ever touched fucking TRT or steroids or anything, is that I was always congruent with my belief system. And that is that I always thought positive and I got good things out. And I always thought negative, and those consequences of my negative thinking always came true. And a lot of the times when those things came true was when I was in fucking shitty, toxic relationships that I have no other reference point other than toxic, damaging, brutally abusive, verbally, mentally, physically, in every possible way, financially, from my own family members and from ex-girlfriends. So I know the fucking difference because I have the wisdom to know the difference, because when you say, are you fucked up as much as I've had in relationships, it is no fucking wonder why I don't trust women, because I have been the root cause of almost every time I've had problems with something that started off as a good thing with a girl and ended up being toxic as fuck. Because I only gravitated for girls that had fake tits, you know, fake eyelashes, a big ass. You know, they obviously like wanted to get fucked when I met them. So there was no saying no to that shit. And what a one night stand turns into is a fucking 2-year relationship with a girl who's really just a fucking undercover fucking stripper. You know what I mean? With 500 guys in her fucking DMs hitting her up while I'm at work saying, hey, let's meet for coffee, which means, you know what I mean? So there's no shame in not trusting anybody. I would look at it from an aspect of deceit, and they always work with the exit in mind. That is not to say that you can't have a good time with a girl. I am just saying that unless she has been validated by somebody that you trust and you value their opinion based on statistical data that says this girl would be good for you business-wise, socially, and as a long-term partner would be good for you physically, because eventually you're going to get old and you're going to want to have a young spring chicken around you that's going to help you when you fall down and bust your ass, or when you get the flu, or one of those other shit things that happens when you're living in some of these fucking countries. You know what I'm saying? How many times I've been sick and Rock Harris took care of me? How many times have I been fucked over and Rock Harris took care of me? Look how many times I've had my fucking debit card stolen. And when I'm waiting for the return debit card, the replacement to come in the mail, who's shelling out money? She's helping me out. She don't have to do that shit. That's not a question though. It's like, yo, let's put gas in the car. 1,000 pesos is like $60 to fill the fucking car like halfway. You know what I'm saying? She don't give a shit because the entire year I'm helping her. I'm not helping her. I'm giving her my life energy, time, and attention because I want to have somebody by my side in my old age that has enough sense and enough ability to follow me into death. A woman that is willing to follow me into battle. That is a woman that when you get attacked on social media, she doesn't retaliate, she takes notes. That's a ride or die chick that has a baseball bat ready. But she ain't gonna jump ship because she knows that emotional outbursts don't help us men because we get killed over dumb shit. That's why I always tell this one, if I ever get in another fight, do not try and stop me. Do not get in my way. I don't want to break your fucking hip by accident, throwing the elbow, pushing you the fuck off of me while I'm trying to create a distance from this guy. And who wants to fucking kill me? And if you get in my way, or try and stop me, you might end up getting killed by these fucking guys. Could be 2, 3, or 4 guys that are planning on fucking us up. So instead of letting me do what I need to fucking do and stop the first guy, and the second guy, if he wants to come up, boom, stomp and starch his ass, the other 2 guys will run away if the 3 haven't run away already, because that's how you get rid of ghosts. You face them and they disappear. The same goes with jealousy. In the event your girl gets somebody else, you need to see that as a separate blessing, because he didn't steal your girl. He stole your problems. He stole a bunch of fucking problems that you were throwing out anyway. You were putting that shit out to the street. I don't know if you guys have those recycling bins. You were putting all your shit out to the street on the recycling bin. And you were like, fuck this shit. You know what? Fuck this. I could do way better. I don't want to deal with this. That's not serious about me. Who's not going to respect me? Who's not looking after me? The professor is right. I'm very rarely ever wrong. This is not a subject that I could just pull shit out of my ass. This is the way that this stuff operates. If you're sitting at a table with a woman and she is texting somebody else, means that A, she does not respect your time. B, she's texting another guy. C, after she's eating your food, she's going to go fuck C, which is me, which is Chad. Because you bore her. I have nothing to offer her except the big ass fucking baby arm. And I'm going to blow her back right the fuck out. That is the only thing I have to offer that girl in the world. Which is why when I say, when you get rid of that girl out of your life, you do not go back to her, because I have already been there. In fact, I had been there before it ended with you and her. I saw her. This is how easy it was to get, because she was already so sick of you, and she had already lost respect for you. And this is where it gets easy for guys like me. You've heard the stories. The boyfriend and girlfriend break up. She's crying crocodile tears. His friend is over there, put his arm around her shoulder. That's what that song's about, man. Put your hand on my shoulder. And he is inside her. And ski worked. Okay? And he's going to give it to her every six ways to Sunday, because he's been envious of you since the word go anyway. She's had an eyeball for him, liking all his fucking pictures on Instagram and Facebook, and you don't know about it. Behind your back. And they're not even texting on WhatsApp, dude. They're playing fucking games, and they're on teams together, and they can chat in those games. that are anonymous and don't have pictures of people. That's how they're chatting back and forth. That's how they're doing it down here in Latin America anyway. Fucking have games, and inside those games, they're chatting with their other guy. So God grant me, the universe grant me this 1978 650 fire truck, tubular, bodied, with coilovers, air shocks, and a souped up 600 over the 1,200 pound of torque. Can pull up to 50,000 pounds. So you see where I'm going with this, guys. You're not going to go on the Baja 1000 driving a Volkswagen bus. It does not have the torque necessary to drive through the sand for 1,000 kilometers. It is a very hot race and very dangerous race because you're racing against guys that are in Class A buggies and, you know, trophy trucks. So if you're so bold as to race in the Baja 1000, I'm going to share with you in advance that that is going to end miserably, and it's going to fail on a level that is not only going to be expensive, but also embarrassing to you and your soul for the rest of your fucking life. So do not enter the Baja 1000 driving a Volkswagen bus. You have to be prepared for that race, first of all. Second, you need to have the financial backing of who the hell knows whatever, KFC, Kraft, macaroni, whatever the fuck, to even drive one of these trucks to enter into the damn thing. How much is the prize? $800,000 or $1 million that you could potentially win? Hey, brothers, XL Pros in the house. And if it's a million, if the prize is over $1 million and the companies have invested 100,000 into your truck, into your suspension, you know what I'm saying, into your whole setup, your burn suit. I mean, those are 20 grand. So there's no pot to piss in, but the idea is that you want to have the wisdom to know the difference, that you do not take a Volkswagen bus into the Baja 1000. You prepare yourself and you become the fucking trophy trucks that win. Why are you fucking wasting your time going into the Baja 1000 driving an old ass 1974 Volkswagen Westfalia 1800 air cooled that has the original everything on it? You know, first thing in the world you're going to say, you know, oh, it's for sentimental reasons. It's because you don't want to invest into yourself. That means getting your teeth done, getting your shitty teeth fixed that are causing, you know, to have halitosis, which is another reason why people don't want to talk to you, because you stink. You guys see the shirt I'm wearing? Okay. It's good, man. It's a good shirt. But I'm telling you guys, invest into white polo shirts. If they have Pima cotton, great. They don't have to have the horse on it. It could just be plain white polo shirts. Short sleeve. If you're a size large, go to a medium. If you're a medium, go to a small. If you're an XL, go to a large. Get your muscles out. I don't give a fuck if you got a fat ass stomach. You need your muscles to show. If you wear long sleeves, always put your sleeves up to your forearms, because this determines how fucking fat you are and how fertile you are and how fucking fine you are. So when you always have your long sleeve shirts pushed up to here, you are telling the world that you got muscles. You see, I have muscles right there. And what is happening is that tells people your body fat. So even if you are a fat fuck, I want you to try to at least put on shit that's going to make you look bigger in the shoulders and a bigger dude, because you got to take advantage of your size. Take advantage of how jacked you look And then just put your mind to it, because the bigger you fucking look, the more respect you're going to get almost instantly. So we're going back to the prayer. I'm going to go 1 second. Got to go to the bathroom. So give me 30 seconds. Some of you guys are willing to suffer meaninglessly for shit that does not for shit that does not benefit you. I'm dying here. Willing to suffer for shit that doesn't benefit us. If it does not benefit us, why do we invest? We throw good money after bad, getting presents for girls that cheat on us, lie to us. I'm dying over here. God. So anyway, bad investments. Why would we go back to that when here is the good news? Behind all of this bullshit, all of us put ourselves through to have baby mamas and all this stuff. None of these girls are pretty enough in every possible way, in personality and in body and in face and how they carry themselves when they're with us, how caressing they are, how feminine they are, and how awesome they are for us. There's no way of determining that within 90 days. So if you're fucking this girl from the first date, I'm going to tell you right off the bat, that bitch is not going to last. Especially if she's a foreign girl and she speaks English, which is the last fucking thing you want, is a foreign girl that speaks English. Which means she's been run through. Okay? Unless you're the one doing the running through and you're the one teaching them English, you have to fuck up, because I know what I'm talking about when it comes to these type of women. They are the ones that look out for gringos. They are the #1 ally to gringos. And they can be some of the best and the worst, especially if they've been Americanized and gone to the States, which guilty, had it. I never spoke Spanish with her because I didn't fucking have to. She was at my house every fucking day, had some big old titties, long fucking hair. She had a fat ass, and I got to fuck her 4 or 5 times a day. What the fuck else am I going to do with a girl? That was my shack up for the coronavirus. Yeah, I shacked up with a fat bitch during the coronavirus. And then at the end, I signed away property to get her the fuck out of my life. And after I told her I was a small price to pay to get rid of you, she therefore broke my fucking mirrors in my house and broke my fucking lamps and shit. And then it said to me, that message that came through to me after I put my thinking hat on, my thinking sombrero on again. It says that it's my fault because I chose that bitch to begin with. And just so you guys know, I am not a cowboy. And I cannot pretend to even be one, because if you gave me a lasso, I would practice with it. Unless I got the fucking cow the first time, I'd be like, fuck this shit. Living for the fucking cowboys. All the rest of us are just a bunch of clowns in the rodeo. Okay? So remember that shit. All of us are just clowns in this fucking rodeo. And all of us seem to be running around doing jumping jacks and backflips for these bitches that don't give a fuck about us anyway, and wouldn't have a problem if we left them, because they could replace us in 30 fucking seconds. I told my lady, I said, listen, if you think it's so fucking hard if you think it's so hard for women, this is how easy it is for you. Go outside into front of the fucking house and just lift your shirt up. You'll have a new boyfriend within 30 seconds. For myself, I'm going to have months of fucking having to go through the 5 stages of grief, having to find friends again because she had me alienate all the motherfuckers anyway. because she's like, oh, I don't want you hanging out with your friends. You spend all your time welding and trying to make shit, and I don't believe in your dreams at all. So I'm gonna sabotage everything you fucking do. Oh, and I see they're also in top fitness shape. So while the coronavirus is happening, we're gonna eat like shit the entire year, and I'm gonna go to park classes and flirt with guys there for 4 or 5 hours while you're at home studying for the firefighter's exam. Seems fair. As long as I'm getting that ass, I'm willing to ignore the science, which is the wisdom that knows that that is fucked up. There is no water in the fucking pool, and I shouldn't be diving in that motherfucker. But I'm willing to go up to the edge and put my feet in because I'm a man, and I'm willing to take a stupid ass risk on a bitch like that because she's got fat ass titties and a big ass. And that's what I wanted, and that's the level of person that I was at that particular time. So I did have quite a turnaround because I had a wonderful way of looking back on my own fuck ups in my life and say, okay, I cheated on this bitch, I lied to this bitch. I was TDY, this bitch cheated on me. This bitch lost respect for me and started talking to me, talking like shit to me. So there's all these like patterns of circles that go on in our lives. And many of us do the same old shit in every new relationship and fuck it up from the start, which there is always some lame excuse for it. But my recommendation has to be you have to start making better friends. You have to make better friends so that these women don't become the center of your life, because your friendships will outlive those women, and the investment you make in men is minimal compared to what it is to women. Even if you want to make friends, I'm just going to say bowling team. I don't know. I don't bowl. But the friendships that you make in bowling teams aren't the same as you being with your woman all the fucking time. So if you're at your house and your woman's at home and you're at home all the fucking time and all you do is watch fucking Netflix with her, make food together, fuck together, she's going to get bored. She's going to find her other way of communicating. That is if she is, you know, the type of woman that you want her to be. But like I said, you fucked her on a first date. What are you going to expect from that shit? Okay. You fucked that bitch on the first date, you guaranteed. There's no guarantees. First of all, she's not a virgin. Okay. She's not terribly young. Okay. Let's keep it real. She might have a kid from some other guy. He might be a good guy. And so now you're going to play fucking stepfather? Fuck that. No. And you could be a rebound, which is worse because then they get like all emotionally attached to you. And 3 months later, you're talking to a stranger, because rebounds are awesome to fuck and not to be in a relationship with. Rebound girls fall in love very easily and find anything and everything that is amazing about you to the umpteenth degree. And so there's no, you could do no wrong, only to have that image destroyed when reality sets in. And your true colors come out, her true colors come out, her fantasy dissolves like the fucking Disney princess bullshit that it is. And you get to see life after you've taken the fucking red pill and said, holy shit, I don't mean anything to this girl. Only reason why she has me around is so she doesn't starve to death. And I'm having around so I don't get bored to death. Because it isn't about the sex at this point. Now it's about having somebody around in case I fall down and break my fucking hip, somebody to call 911. So is it better as I get older? Yeah, because I have more money, I have more time to do what I want to do. But got to also realize I'm a fucking combat veteran and I'm all fucked up. So other combat veterans would tell you the exact same thing. They would say, hey, I'm definitely so fucked up that relationships are shitty for us. And we have a lot of exes because we're masculine dudes and we come off fucking cocky and dangerous and everything else, because we are. And to make matters worse, many of us are raised by single mothers that are emotional, that taught us to be emotional and to fight emotionally and to say shit that makes women cry and it makes us feel shitty for saying it. That's how women fight. That is not how men fight. Men fight with fists. But now they've neutered the man, they've neutered all the men, so now we don't fight no more. And then we're all raised by single mothers, so we are emotional guys, but we're masculine on the outside. We end up doing dumb shit with guns, or just ruining our fucking lives over emotional shit, fighting like women. And you'll wonder why the exes don't want you back. It's because you act like a bitch. Because she took your masculinity away. She stole your balls like 3 months prior to that. She fucking hooked up with another guy. You see what I'm saying? Why would you want that shit when the good news is that she has an identical twin on the other side of town from you? I saw her yesterday. I know. You see, some of you motherfuckers don't realize that I can see much more than you can. I might be partially blinded right now, but I can see way deep, so deep into the darkness of your eyes, into the depths of some of your souls, into the profound words of anger and hurt, fear that some of you guys tell me. I don't need to look far. But I can see deep down in you, in most of you, you've all had that deep, profound hurt that only a woman can do. And it is done recklessly. It is done intentionally. And its only purpose is to hurt you for being or stop being the man that you were when she met you, because she convinced you, since the feminists control the minds of all these women, that you need to behave in this way and you don't need to behave that way. And you stop being a little boy. Okay? Never let them tell you to stop being a little boy. Never let them tell you, just don't let them embarrass you, because that means they don't respect you. Don't let them mother you, treat you like you're their mother. That shit don't fly. It never lasts. And these are not women that you want to have exes that come back to you or you go back to them booty calls, because they are dangerous, because they've had time to meet other guys and immediately go get more allies against you. So you need to have other allies, which are male friends, that are going to pull you up. They're going to pull you up. They're going to tell you what's not, dude, this is not good. You need to stop this shit because she ain't worth it. When you want to call her and text her 300 fucking times and she don't answer once, that don't mean text her 300 more times. Because that's a pussy ass game. And you understand, you lost the game. You lost all 3 lives in Mario Brothers. You do not get a 4th. It means start over again. Go back to World 1. You know at the end of the game that the princess is there. You're going to whip the fucking dragon's ass. It's all just a matter of time. It may not be this game. It might be the next one. But as long as you really fuck shit up on Mario Brothers, you get 3 lives. And at the end of the day, you have to say, is this person good for me? Yes or no? In any way, shape, or form, is this person going to bring me down in some way? Either socially, economically, spiritually. It'll happen. You go in and I'm telling you, unequally yoked with a non-believer, or vice versa. Or vice versa. You don't want to get involved with a girl that is a church-going girl and you're an atheist, because there'll be some conflict there. And those are the two things we don't talk about. We don't talk about politics or religion. And I'm going to preach, because the wisdom to know the difference is that I'm no longer a dumbass with this girl. I am no longer going to do the same shit I did before in the last relationship that I played 3 lives and I was kicked out of that game. And the one before that, and I had 3 lives and I was kicked out of that game. So you understand is that we're doing the same shit. And you got to make drastic, painful changes in order to veer, are going to have the same painful shit happen. And there is another, and I don't mean to refer back to Alcoholics Anonymous, but this is where I learned it. That's why I don't drink anymore, just so you guys know. I mean, I went to Alcoholics Anonymous. I've been sober 21 years. Thank you very much. And the change, okay, when the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of changing, then one will change. I'm going to say it again, because I know we got some people listening. This is awesome. When the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of changing, that one will change. So when the pain of being the same piece of shit, or the same, maybe like a pushover, maybe you've been a simp. Maybe you've been a simp. If you were a simp and you gave girls everything and you just didn't give a fuck about yourself, and at the end of the day, you were like hoping that girl's going to get with you because you're doing all this shit for her, only to find out she's doing the same thing with 5 other guys. That shit hurts. You don't want to hear that, but that's a lot of times what they do, especially foreign girls in other countries where you do not live. This is why I said, don't go jumping out the Jaguar the first day, guys. You come down to Colombia, you got to remember something. You're looking at a girl who's probably their only, contribution to the world is that they're beautiful, has done some hoe shit. So don't go coming down here pie in the sky thinking that you've been the only guy with her. They got to see this shit for what it really is. These girls are 10s in your country, and they're 3s down here. So if you break up with one, remember that you can find 4 other just like her, and you ain't got to go crying back to that bitch. They might throw a fit. They might throw shit fucking you know what I mean? They go lose their fucking mind. But you can always replace them. And that's a big difference when you guys in the States are like, it's hard enough to get a girlfriend. Like, if you can't catch a fish here, motherfucker, you can't hold a rod. You follow me? That's how simple it is to get a girlfriend in Latin America. It don't matter if you're short, fat, got 1 eye, 1 leg, 4 teeth. Don't matter. And it ain't about money neither, motherfucker. It is about status. It is about the illusion. It is about the perception that people have of you as a representative of your United States or your Canada or Germany or New Zealand. Two of my guys in the chat from New Zealand. That ain't good. Listen, let me get 30 seconds. I got to look off the balcony. Okay, hold on a second. Fucking dogs are barking at something. And we're back. And don't stop. Just because train them dogs to bark at everything, and they will bark at everything. Train these girls to go after your money, and they'll go after your money. That is how easy it is to determine your future with a girl down here in Latin America, and how to determine your future with a girl that you feel like you can get back. So my suggestion to you is that remember where you are and remember where you were when you met her physically, mentally, financially, spiritually, all these things. Paint a picture for you. You've gone downhill. She had lost respect for you at some point, and she went out of her way to go fuck some other guy that hit her up in her fucking DMs. Because that is the level of woman that you picked to begin with. You're picking skeezer fucking hoes that aren't worth your time because you want to get some pussy. And like I said, you did allow for a one night stand to turn into a two-year fucking shitstorm. So I say put all the blame on your own self. Take the responsibility for what you did, and you picked that girl. And then anything that happened at that point forward, who gives a fuck? Because everything that you're telling me happened to all of us. Every single guy in the chat has had the same thing fucking happen to him. In a different woman, in a different story, in a different game, whatever the fuck you want to call this stupid thing. But all of us have been attracted to women for sexual purposes. We found out they were a hoe. We didn't know she was a hoe because we didn't even know what a hoe was back then. Your friend tells you, hey, look, man, told you. Why'd you get with that girl, man? Don't take that girl seriously because she's a hoe. I did not know. I didn't even know what a hoe was back then. They had to tell me, look, she is just a girl that recreationally fucks guys at random. And you just happen to be with her that specific night. And because you haven't been with a fine ass girl in a long time, you got caught up in your feelings, got into that romanticism. Thank you, fucking Sir Lancelot. And that is why you're in the trap that you're in, because you went with a skeezer ass hoe. You were raised by a baby mama. It was taught you to be emotional. You grew up in a masculine body. The first time you ran into problems, you punched some motherfucker's ass out. And that is how you learn to respond to trauma, is with violence. Now we're in a different era. Now we're in an era where we're looking to something greater than ourselves to restore us to sanity. And a lot of dudes have found that the God of their grandmother that they resisted so much turned out to be pretty true. And I want you to be on guard about this stuff, because you could be facing something very good in your life and you're going to say, it's just luck. Well, good luck with that. How is that working out? Well, anyway, back to reformer. All we have are degenerates. All we have are guys that have been punched in the fucking eye that say, yeah, it shit hurts. So we have witnesses of people who are fucked up over and over and over again with the same women. And the problem is they don't have anybody to fall back on, as where women do. A woman breaks up with a man, she has 4 or 5 guys in her DMs that are there to cushion the fall, take her out to dinner, put her up in a hotel for the night, get her back rubbed in a massage, even go see a therapist with her. A guy has nothing to fall back on. A guy has his fucking friends in the gym and the weights to fall back on. That is why I say breakups make bodybuilders. Look at them arms. That is a result of breakups upon breakups upon breakups with girls that are fucking 10s on any of you guys' scales. That's for fucking sure. And yet here I am, fast forward all these years and a whole lot of therapy. It has not been a cure-all for everything. Therapy has helped me to stop feeling a certain way about other shit. It has helped me to calm down the feelings of other shit. It has neutered a lot of those feelings that I had before that turned to violence and now are innocuous. Because I know the value of a man now, as opposed to the value of a younger woman. You see, a younger woman, when I was a younger man, fucked some other guy. And even leaving her house, she's staring at his dick through his shorts. And I'm going into her house to go, well, what's going on? Why haven't you answered the fucking phone? You know what I'm saying? I'm not a dumb fucking guy who writes poems and shit, write a fucking song, and I'm going to show up at her house with a fucking guitar and shit. That's what I was trained to do. Sir Walter Raleigh. That's right, guys. Sir Walter Raleigh. Romanticism, right. Sir Walter Raleigh and romanticism. He's that motherfucker that like threw his coat down to get the bitch to walk across. That is where the wisdom to know the difference. That's a dumb fucking move. Anybody with the wisdom to know the difference, unless it is the fucking only way out of a burning building, and you just happen to be wearing, you know, a whole fucking suit made out of your EPP material, then I'd say no. Fuck that. So here we go. You are the only person responsible for all the fuck ups in every relationship you ever had. So the idea of going back to the same problematic person makes no sense whatsoever. So breakups make bodybuilders, and you're going to have to do a suplex on your ego, because your ego is one telling you all this bullshit in your head when you can go and replace her just as easily as she's replacing you. I got to cut this short because the battery's dead. It's been good talking to all you guys coming in and chatting, man. I appreciate you guys doing this for me. And that is why I say breakups make bodybuilders. The way to get her back, the best vengeance, is become the most amazing version of yourself that it would be an embarrassment for her to even be around you socially. I'm the professor, and I'm out.